How's it going, guys, and welcome back to your football predictions. So there's a lot of football going on right now. We had the FA Cup at the weekend, we've seen the Champions League, the Europa League tonight, and then this weekend, actually tomorrow, Friday night, and over the weekend we've got the Premier League, and then on Sunday we've got the League Cup final. So there's a lot going on, but before we get into those games, we're going to take a quick look at my predictions from the FA Cup weekend. I did okay. I didn't get any correct scores. I was right that Watford would go through, that Man City would go through, that Swansea would go through, but I did back Chelsea to beat Man U, and Man U won 2-0. So 3 correct outcomes, no correct scores isn't the best. Thanks again to everyone who got involved with last week's video. I went through all of the comments. A handful of people got 1 correct score, but only 1 person got 2 correct scores, and that was Jared. So I've put his YouTube link down in the description. Make sure you guys go and check him out, because I already have, and I've subscribed to him. And remember, if you want to be shouted out in next week's video of your football predictions, then to get your predictions down in the comments below. As always, I've picked a few games from this weekend, and we're going to go through them now. So as I just mentioned, there is Premier League football on tomorrow night, on the Friday night. There's 2 games on, but that wouldn't give you guys much time at all to get your predictions in. So we are going to jump straight into the games on Saturday. I've picked 3 Premier League games, and we'll finish with the League Cup final game as well. So to start things off, on Saturday at 3 o'clock, we have got Newcastle taking on Huddersfield. Starting off with Newcastle, currently sitting 16th in the Premier League, just 1 point out of the relegation zone. Obviously before the break, I mean, Newcastle have been off to Spain over the last week or so due to the FA Cup and not featuring in it. But before that, you know, we're on a decent-ish run. Beat Cardiff, amazing win against Man City, losing against Spurs after a Dubravka mistake, and then a draw 1-1 against Wolves, which was really 2 points lost because Wolves scored with the last kick of the game. But I would still like to say that confidence will be high, hopefully, and playing against Huddersfield, who are currently bottom of the league. You just know what Newcastle are like. They beat Man City and then they lose against Huddersfield. You know, that just seems to be the way it goes. But I'm really hoping it's not, because Huddersfield and then the next game is Burnley. It's 2 really, really big games for Newcastle. It needs to be 6 points. It really, really does. We need to kick on now. Obviously, again, Newcastle brought in Almiron, new record transfer. This could be his first, well, his home debut. I'm hoping he starts. I'm hoping we hit the ground running. And I'm hoping Newcastle can get a few goals. As for Huddersfield, as I just mentioned, they are bottom of the league. They are 14 points from getting out of the relegation zone. They've got the new manager in now. They went on a string of losses, then got a draw against Cardiff, but then have lost the following 4 Premier League games after that. But to be fair to Huddersfield, they were against tough teams. I really do think Huddersfield will be looking at this game and thinking they need to win. You know, if they have a chance of not getting relegated, they really, really need to grab 3 points. I don't know where the headspace is at of the Huddersfield team, but no doubt they'll be fighting till the end, and they're going to want to do something against Newcastle. Having said that, I'm going to go 2-0 Newcastle. It's been a long time since I've been to St James's Park. We've not had a home game in absolutely ages, so I will be there at the weekend, and I'm hoping Almiron can get his first home start and can get a goal. Next up on the Saturday, but the 5:30 game, we have got Leicester taking on Crystal Palace. So Leicester are currently sitting 12th in the league. Last 5 games, they've lost 4, they've drawn 1 against Liverpool. Their most recent game, they lost against Spurs, which obviously is a tough one. As for Crystal Palace, they are 13th in the league, so they are just 1 place behind Leicester. Now, Crystal Palace have certainly had some better form in recent games. They beat Doncaster in their last game in the FA Cup at the weekend gone, which put them through to the quarter-final, and they are playing Watford away, which I think is not a bad draw for Crystal Palace at all. As for Premier League, last 5, they've lost 2, they've drawn 2, and they've won 1. In their most recent game, they drew against West Ham 1-1. So, form-wise, I mean, Leicester are obviously above Crystal Palace in the league by a few points. Form-wise, you'd say Crystal Palace have picked up more points of late and will have the confidence after getting to the quarter-final of the FA Cup. Having said that, I still think it's going to be a tough game, so I am sitting on the fence a little bit with this one, and I'm going to go 1-1. Next up on the Sunday at 2:05, we have got Man U taking on Liverpool. So, Manchester United are currently sitting in 4th place, so they are sitting in that Champions League spot if they can stay there for a Champions League place next season. However, Arsenal and Chelsea are only 1 point behind them, so they're going to definitely want to try and stay there by beating Liverpool. Man U have had a fair few games recently. They lost against PSG in the first leg of the Champions League last week. After that, they then played in the FA Cup, where they beat Chelsea 2-0, putting themselves through to the quarter-final of that. Premier League-wise, I still don't think they've lost since Solskjaer became manager, so fair enough, the loss against PSG in the Champions League isn't great, but beating Chelsea to get through to the quarter-final of the FA Cup will, I think, put the team in good spirits ready for this one. And Liverpool did beat Man U in the reverse fixture back in December, so they're going to want to make up for that as well. Liverpool are currently sitting 2nd in the Premier League behind Man City. They've got the same points, but Man City have got a better goal difference. Man City have also played 1 more game than Liverpool at the moment. But because, and we'll get onto it in a minute, because Man City are in the League Cup final this weekend, Liverpool have their game in hand against Manchester United, which isn't an easy game. But if they can pick up any points in this game, it will put them top of the Premier League again. And as for Premier League form for Liverpool, their last game they beat Bournemouth 3-0, but before that they drew against Leicester and West Ham. If you know, big up Leicester and West Ham. I think there's 2 good draws for those two teams, but you know, if Liverpool want to be winning the league, I think they should maybe be getting more from those games. Having said that, I mean, they've also got Champions League to concentrate on as well, so there's a lot going on there. I'll finish waffling and I'll tell you my prediction. I want goals. I'm gonna go 3-2 to Man U. I mean, it could easily go the other way. It could be a draw, I have no idea, but as I say, Solskjaer's league form has been fantastic. The players will be buzzing after getting through the quarter-final of the FA Cup. Liverpool's league form last few games has dipped a little bit. But yeah, who knows? Let me know what you think down below. And to finish off, we have the League Cup final. Sunday at 4:30, we have got Chelsea taking on Man City. Chelsea beat Spurs in the semi-final on penalties. So no doubt they will be buzzing to have made it through to the final. Chelsea actually play tonight against Malmo. I'm not going to lie, I'm recording this a day early, so I don't know what the score is of that game. That could be a big factor as well. You know, if they get through to the next round of the Europa League, that'll be a boost of confidence ready for the final at the weekend. As I mentioned, Premier League wise, they're 1 point behind Man U in the Prem, so they're in a good position there. They just need to try and pip Man U and Arsenal at the post. Manager wise, however, there's a lot of chat about Sarri at the minute, and people are actually saying that this game in the final, if he wins it, could save his job. But who am I to say? As for Manchester City, they are currently the holders of the League Cup after winning it last year, and in their semi-final they beat Burton Albion to get into the final. I heard some talk today. Could Man City be on for the quad? The League Cup that we're talking about, the FA Cup, the Champions League. They are actually playing against Schalke. Again, I'm recording this a day early. They're kicking off in about 15 minutes. So I'm going to finish this video and I'm going to watch it. So again, for you guys, if you know what the score was against Schalke, that if they win, going to be on a buzz, ready for the weekend. If they lose, maybe they won't be. So that could play a factor there. Do I think they'd get the quad? I don't know. Obviously, it's the Champions League is the big one. But the other cup, you know, the FA Cup, the League Cup this weekend, the Premier League's still up for the taking as well, so you don't know. I'd be very impressed if they did it, I'll put it that way. But as for a prediction on this League Cup final, as I said, the games that are going on tonight/tomorrow could play a factor. The whole sorry situation, you don't know what's going on in the Chelsea players' heads, but at the end of the day, it's a final. It's at Wembley. The players are going to be buzzing for it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping there's a lot of goals. And I'm going to back Man City. I've wrote 3-1 Man City down there, so I think I'm going to roll with it. But I backed Chelsea in the FA Cup at the weekend to beat Man U, and Man U beat them 2-0. Should I have backed Chelsea this time round? I don't know, but yeah. Alright, let me know what you think of that one down below too. And that is it, guys. So I hope you have enjoyed the video. Those are my predictions up there. So make sure you get your predictions down in the comments below. The first game kicks off on Saturday at 3 o'clock. So I will go through all of your predictions before the kickoff on Saturday at 3 o'clock. I'll make a note of all of them and I will shout out the winner in next week's video. Alright? Hope you've enjoyed it. Drop a like if you have. Subscribe if you are new. And yeah, have a good weekend. Catch you later.